everyone. It's your host, Eric and Dr. Sakeisha Hylick, your marriage and relationship success strategist. And we are so excited about another edition of the Business Blueprint Edition. Now, look, we have been having some amazing sessions this season. If you have not had an opportunity, make sure you go back and catch the replay. Click on our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so that way you get the notifications when we go live. And tonight we have another phenomenal guest joining us this evening. I am so excited. What about you, honey?
I am so excited to have Miss Shana on.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shana before we bring her up. She's the CEO and owner of Boston First Administrative Management Services, which is a virtual assisting firm and is serving and supporting small businesses for busy professionals and executive men and women. And one of the things about Shana, she has been known as the behind the scenes queen. Have you noticed that all of our guests have got these amazing talents? And, you know, they're known as the behind the scenes queen. They're known as the butts in the seats queen. We've had so many different guests that for those of you out there that are entrepreneurs, small business owners, you should be gleaning and taking lots of notes from all of these episodes, honey. What do you think?
Oh, yes, because we only have the best and brightest entrepreneurs or couples because we really value our guests, our listeners, our followers, and it falls right into our motto that we educate, empower, and we encourage you to win. And that's why we bring only the best for you.
Now, Shana has been known as the handler for managing and organizing administrative operations for top executives, business owners, and coordinating and directing lavish and memorable events. So remember, no, she's the one to reach out to. So those of you that are contemplating having that event that is just amazing, make sure that you connect with her. Her clients are always blown away by her professionalism, her endless capabilities, her connections, and knowledge of her craft and expertise. She's a risk taker and a go-getter and has never been afraid of asking the question or receiving the answer. Now, she's been a full-time entrepreneur for 5 years. So for those of you that are saying, can I do this? Can I do it? Yes, you can. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. If God has given you that vision, take it and run with it. There may be challenges, there may be struggles, but keep pressing forward. Now Shane has been known for getting into good trouble, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about that. She's been engulfed in community work with various organizations and agencies. She was named the newest board member for the Department of Children and Family Services in 2019 and recently appointed to the CTEA Advisory Council for Emmanuel County School. Now, she attributes her success to God's guidance, His grace, His mercy, and favor. Now, she is an amazing woman, and I want to welcome her to the stage. Shana, thank you for joining us this evening. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How was everybody this evening?
Oh my goodness. I literally was like, there's so much more that I could say in her bio, but I want to leave something for us to talk about this evening.
I'm so happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Now, when we're looking in your bio and you're saying you are the behind the scenes queen, can you share with our listeners a little bit about what that means? They'll see the behind the scenes queen. Well, what is that exactly? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the behind the scenes queen is something I came up with because much like a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners or executives, they have personal assistants or they have their administrative assistant. And that's usually a person you don't know anything about, but that's the gatekeeper. The right people know who that person is because they know that person is the gatekeeper to the person that they want to get next to. And so the behind the scenes queen knows everything. We know everything. We know the tea. We know the good. We know the bad. We know what you don't like, what you like, what you love, what you're passionate about. It's our job to know our clients. So we have to know the behind the scenes queen. I tell my clients all the time, I say, listen, I'm about to get up in all your business because I have to be in your business enough to know and do our job effectively, because the whole process of being, let me explain, I'm a virtual assistant. That's what Often First is a virtual assistant company serving and supporting small business owners and busy professionals with their administrative tasks. So just like I was saying about having an administrative assistant in your office, we do that virtually. So in order for us to do that, because I'm not with you in the office, so I can't watch your mannerisms, I can't understand the tone, the culture, and things of that nature, I have to rely on the business owner to let me get up in their business. So things is all about learning about those things, those nuances, or those things they like and they don't like, so that I can do my job effectively and be able to speak on that client's behalf.
Now, you know what? You're talking about your virtual assistant firm and being a behind the scenes queen. Now, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I just can't wait to talk about it.
Okay.
Now, there is something that you have going on that, I want all of our listeners to know about. So there is something that you recently announced that you were doing. And one of the things about it being significant is that you'll be the first female African American in this position. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about that?
Yes, I am happy to announce here that I am running to be the mayor of Swainsboro, Georgia. Like she said,
Wow.
I would be the first African American female and person to run for this position.
Wow. Now, you know what? One of the reasons
in the making.
that's right. And it speaks volumes to me, because you have those business owners out there that may be listening and they're contemplating doing big things. They're contemplating stepping out of their comfort zone and doing something different, but they're kind of like scared to dip their toe in the water because they would be the first.
Right.
Now, this serves as a source of encouragement that you can be the first.
Yeah.
You can step out on faith. So what was that aha moment that caused you to say, you know what? I'm going to be the first and I'm going to run for this position. What was it?
Okay. So it really was a childhood dream, believe it or not.
Okay.
I was in middle school, and our principal, and I forget the CTEA person in our middle school, put together a program that was all about teaching us about local government. And in that process, we had to elect officials. So we had to elect a mayor, we had to elect city council, and I was the mayor of 7th grade. So I was already, so then I met the current mayor. I think one of the state representatives was also there. So I looked around then and I was like, I can be the mayor. I can do this. So at that point, you're a child, you're not thinking about it being the first or anything like that. And as an adult, I didn't see where it was going to happen, because the last thing I wanted to do was move back to Swainsboro. So it was one of those dreams that was in the back of my head. But then life and God happened. He was like, remember that dream you had? Now it's time to get that ball rolling. So when I came back to Swainsboro, I had nothing. And all I had was faith. And, my dad was like, because I had to move in with him, what are you doing behind that computer? I'm making things happen. So I was able to make all of those things happen and also get involved in the community. I was already doing workshops and things that, not living in Swainsboro, that I would bring to Swainsboro. And I just got engulfed in it. I got engulfed into some of that good trouble in training those who wanted to be entrepreneurs about, the foundations of how to start a business. And it just kind of grew from there. And it was like, well, I always knew 4 years ago what the time frame was going to be. And it was like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So that's kind of was the aha. It was kind of already built in. And I jumped. I said, and everybody around me was like, well, why not? What's the worst that can happen? You lose. I lost before.
Wow. But you know what? I remember this quote, and it says, Wayne Gretzky said it. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So you might as well step up and take your shot.
That's
God has huge doors of opportunities that he's making available to us. But as entrepreneurs, some of us are saying, because I don't look like everybody else, I don't talk like everybody else, I don't walk like everybody else, what can I do in that position? And God's like, I'm equipping you to do so much for that position. I need you to step up and step out. And I'm going to do some amazing things in you and through you. So one, I applaud you And two, for all of the listeners out there, my question to you is, why not you? Why are you staying behind the scenes when you were meant to come out and step into greatness? So for those of you that are entrepreneurs, come on, we had this pandemic. You have an opportunity to step up and step out and do some amazing things in the business world. What about you, Eric?
Also, since we are broadcasting live and on multiple channels, is there anybody, maybe some people out there in your district that you're running for mayor for? Is there anything that you want to share to those viewers or those listeners?
Is simply this. I have a vision for our future. Swainsboro is a retirement town, mostly African American, but dominated by our Caucasian brothers and sisters. And we have a huge cultural and divide between blacks and whites, and it's always been here. Within the 2000s, we just stopped having two proms, that was black and that was white. So you never know. It's a lot of different things and things that are still happening in rural America. So what I want to bring to the forefront is that Swainsboro is alive and well. We have people here who want to see things for us to do. We have a lack of things for us to do. We have a lack of job opportunities, industry. So we have a lot of things that can be fixed. Because I always look at the glass half full. And other business owners here in Swainsboro want our city to flourish. We want it to be a place where our kids want to come back to and not be like me. And a lot of us couldn't wait to get away from Swainsboro. But then we realized there's no place like Swainsboro. And we want to highlight that. We want to show the world who we are and the people that live here who care about this city. So it takes all of us. And one of the hashtags that I'm using in the campaign is Together We Can. Together we can do so much. Can I give you an example of what we did already?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So along those lines, when I was telling you about the prom, our county said that our virtual students could not attend prom. So when you're elected to be a virtual student here, you also gave up the right to attend or participate in school activities. Now, I had an issue with that too. But okay, so now we're talking about prom. We're talking about juniors and seniors. We're talking about virtual students who elected to do their part to not spread a deadly virus. That's how I look at it. We were being responsible. Not that they were irresponsible. We just did our part our way. But the prom is a pinnacle event. It is something that everybody looks forward to as a high school student. And to take it away because they chose to be virtual students. Now we have prom traditionally. We have prom in our gym. And they have moved the prom to the football field. So they had already thought and made some COVID, changes to make it safe for everybody. So why would you not allow the virtual students to go to the prom? So a group of concerned citizens and parents, I created the Fearlessly Forward People of Emmanuel County. Nonprofit organization, group of disruptors is what I like to call it. Disruptors in the sense of righting some wrongs. So what we did was, school system, we're going to create our own prom. The business owners, community people say, hey, we'll just put a prom together for these students. And we wanted to include the students who didn't attend prom last year because of the pandemic. It was closed for everyone. So we were trying to include them too. So we were, got our plans going. We had different companies donating or whatever. And then finally, I had also spoken with the superintendent of schools. And then he said, finally, when he heard that we were having issues finding a venue, said, Shana, I want to help you out. I want to help you guys out. I said, well, how are you want to help us out? Because they wouldn't even allow us to use the school facilities.
Wow.
I said, what you want to do? He said, I'm going to talk with the board and see if I can get them to vote to allow the virtual school students to attend.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Right. So that was week before last. And then last week they were on spring break. And so I followed up with him on this Monday, and hadn't heard anything. So then he emailed me back Tuesday morning and said, Shana, I'm happy to tell you that the Board of Education has decided to allow the virtual school students to attend prom.
Wow.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yes, we got that notice day before yesterday, so they are able to attend prom. That's all we
Wow.
wanted. That's all
Wow.
we wanted. We shouldn't have had to give them a prom. And so
Wow.
I give the connection between us having two different proms as me as a child, black and white prom,
Mhm.
regular prom, and what they call the Somerset prom. It took me back
Wow.
to that. It took me back there.
Wow.
And I saw how we were being, unfair, or they were treated unfairly, because they still should have had the choice to attend or not. That was going to be
Yeah.
only on them. So luckily, thank God that they changed their hearts. They voted and they are attending prom. And we don't
Wow.
So I'm excited about that. So that's a huge thing, but it speaks so many volumes for other people saying. And then we had some irate person post today. It's like it was a shame that the board voted that they caved in. And what lessons are we teaching?
Oh, wow.
Well, I simply said to him, and he was saying, I guess if you speak loud enough, you can get things done. I said, you're absolutely right. Your voice has power. And I hope that you use your voice to promote integration and not segregation. And for some reason, he thought I was being a racist. He called me a liberal. And
Oh, my goodness.
I said, it's funny how those trigger words took him somewhere else. He went somewhere. The definition of integration and segregation has nothing to do with black and white.
Right.
But I want you guys to understand what we're dealing with in rural Georgia, in rural America, where minds are so stuck to where it takes all of us to help chisel down that mindset and feed them with honey. Because I was like, I hope you do that. And if that's what you got out of my message, I bid you a good day. So thanks for letting me share that. But that was one of the things most, that was so recent that I want the community to know what we can do together. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything about what we can do to make change, an effective change.
Now, you know something? I was sitting here thinking as you were talking about it, and I was thinking about the importance of us using our voices to impact and influence this generation. So for those of you that are listening, those of you that want to bring about a change, those of you that want to use your voice, you want to bring about an impact and influence, is there a website that they can stay connected with you to help support you in this endeavor? Because I think this is really, really important. Let me see. The website is, what is that website?
ShanaBoston.com.
All right. Let me see if I can put that up. www.ShanaBoston.com. And I just think it's really important. You've said so many things. I'm trying to be mindful of it, but you said some key words: group of disruptors. And that's something that we've got to do in this generation, to be disruptive, to use our voice to shift the narrative, because this is something that should be speaking volumes to those of you that are at home contemplating entrepreneurship, contemplating your next move. Be that disruptor. Be the one that's the change you want to see in your business.
What I was going to say is that's what we always close with, is that you have to be the change you want to see in your relationship, but you have to be the change that you want to see in life, period. Because we can talk about it, but we gotta make action. We gotta do ACT. Action change things. Without ACT, nothing's going to change. But it's amazing, because we just had Women's Month, right?
Yeah.
And we have amazing women on tonight who's actually making a difference in society, a difference in relationships. And, and she's the one who's making the change. And so I applaud you, because you are being the change agent to make things move and change.
Yeah. And that's just really, really important. And you said Fearlessly Forward.
Yes.
So can you tell me that group? I think it's Fearlessly Forward of Emmanuel County.
Fearlessly forward people of Emmanuel County. Yes.
Wow.
I came up with that because that's also part of my campaign. And you'll see that's the first words you'll see on the website at shanaboston.com. And it's time we're not scared. We have to take, any inhibitions out of the way, anything that's blocking our mindset, and just do it scared. Do it fearfully, whatever, but still move forward. And that's why I tell people also, it's hard to do that and be that person if you're not connected to the fire. Who's the fire? People like you guys, people who are out here trying to do things, who are doing things better than you are, who is already somewhere you want to be. So you have to stay connected with people that keep you motivated, keep pushing you out there, keep pushing you over the ledge, and encourage you to, like you said, be the change that you want to see. And sometimes that's not going to be the road most traveled. Matter of fact, the road is narrow, and it's not for everybody to come along. And so being on this journey as an entrepreneur and going after your dreams and listening to what God is saying can be a lonely road if you're not connected to the right people. And that's what I find in success. I'm connected to the right people, period.
That's right.
Because when you do that, I can't shut my brain off at night. How about you guys?
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about that.
Pillow talk. You got your partner in crime. You're bouncing off ideas. You can actually put things into action and execute. There's nothing like that. But you can't do that on our own. That's why God put us here to build relationships. We are all His children. Once we learn that, the easier it'll be. He has already lessened the saying 6 degrees of separation. No, you just a tweet, an inbox, an Instagram away from anybody. And so I did that a lot. I did a lot of jumping off the cliffs and just asked the question.
Wow. And that's important, because if we don't ask the questions, we will not get the answers. And I started thinking about what you were saying, is that you're the risk taker, you're a go-getter, and you're never afraid of asking the questions or receiving the answer. And I think that's something that could be impacting us because we're so afraid of offending others. We're so afraid of how someone's going to act. We're so afraid of losing someone's support or someone not clicking like and supporting us that we stay stuck. But it's time to step out from beyond that. Who you're connected to, it does matter, but it should not hold you captive.
Exactly.
But you know the saying, though, the birds of a feather flock together. And the other saying, right, is you don't want to be the smartest one in the room. You want to be with somebody smarter who has wider connections, and you don't want to be tunnel vision. You want to broaden your horizon, because there's so many different ways of doing something. And if you can get more creative and more innovative by just listening to others' ideas, and like you say, collaborate together, you can accomplish so much more. And change can happen even faster.
You know what? I jumped so quickly into this conversation. I completely forgot to acknowledge our viewers and tell them, when you're coming in, put what city and state you're listening to, or if you're listening to the replay, type in hashtag replay, because I really go deep into these conversations. And so my apologies. I completely forgot. So
also, our
count it to my head. Not my heart.
And our Facebook listeners and viewers, but also our YouTube viewers.
Yes, because this is a powerful conversation. And I just think about where you were when you were younger and they were having 2 proms, and think about the change you're making and the impact that you're having now. So for those of you that are listening, stop worrying, stop being fearful, and step out and be that change you want to see. Think about the things that we experienced in our past and use that as an inspiration to propel you into your future. What things do you want to see shift? What things do you want to see change? Now, not only that, what are you going to do about it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
That's right. It's time now for pointing the fingers and making this everybody else's responsibility. It's time to step up and step out. You are just that one idea away from what God is calling you to do.
But I'm just I'm just a little amazed because I'm like, women are just y'all just
Women.
because y'all are hitting it. I mean, y'all out there making the moves, and you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. And I'm just like I said, I applaud you. You're actually, doing something in your community. And, because we see a lot of this on television. We see what's going on in this world. Yeah. And then it's crazy.
It's
crazy. And there's a lot of people talking, but, we gotta make some moves. We gotta do something. We gotta, and I know Sakeisha and I, that was been our passion, is that we wanna, change relationships, family structures, because that's really, to me, is the backbone of America. If you have a strong family structure, then society would be a much better place, because it starts with the marriage, then the family, then the community, and then the world. If you can get the marriage right, then the family is right. That means your sons and your daughter. And if you impart into them, the values, the manners, and the love of Christ, then they will in turn spread it in everyone that they reach. And then so your family affects the community. And then when the community is right, then the world is now affected.
Now, something Shana said in her bio when you started talking about that, and she says Shana attributes her success to God's guidance, his grace, his mercy, and his favor. And so many times I want to just kind of briefly touch upon the point of being a Christian in the marketplace. Sometimes we feel that we have to hide our faith in order to go up higher. And we don't need to do that. It doesn't mean that you got to get in everybody's face waving the Bible and quoting scripture. Sometimes it's simply how you live your life. It's your willingness to stand up for others, to be that voice. And then it causes others to be like, wait a minute.
That's right.
It's something different about them.
Yeah.
Her boldness, her tenacity, her unwavering faith, and it causes them to take notice.
Yeah.
And they'll start asking you more about it, So that's something that I also wanted to talk about, because, being a mayoral candidate, has that impacted you at all, or?
It has impacted me, because it opens you up to the world and their brutality or their idea of who they think you are. But what I have learned, and I pray, before, announcing and doing this thing and everything that I'm doing right now. But I do know I have to stay close to principle. And principle is acknowledge me in all things. Not some, all things. Absolutely. And I talk about him as he is the provider, because he made it real clear 4 years ago when I ain't have nothing. I'm all you. Now what you gonna do? Your daddy's gone. My daddy actually went to prison, and I had to take on my household, my mom's household, a 4,000 square foot house by myself for 4 years, for 3 years. Okay.
Wow.
So I went from my dad asking me what I was doing behind that computer to you running the household.
Yeah.
And I knew there was nothing but God that did.
Yes.
And so I preach to my clients all the time, principle. Do you pay your tithes? If you don't pay your tithes, it's going to be directly connected to what you're going to make in your career. You have to realize none of that money is yours. Nothing we're doing is about us. So we're able to stick with those principles and acknowledging him in all things that we do. And when we are paid for our services or, our entrepreneurship efforts, you must give back. And that's to him. And so those two guiding principles has guided my success. And I'm still climbing. I'm overwhelmed about the opportunities that he is allowing me. Just us meeting is an opportunity that I am so thankful for. Because what he do? Open up the doors, allow me to build more relationship. Well, you guys are in Florida, so he's enlarging my territory. So you have to think about it. I think about it that way. Oh yeah, I'm coming physically.
All right.
Eventually.
All right.
So, but that's the stupid faith. That's what I call it. Stupid faith that I have, and I've had to have to get to where I'm at. Guys, I bought a house, I bought a car, all of that in the last 2 months.
Wow.
That's awesome.
God is
We
good.
definitely
From zero
Mm.
to this.
Yes.
Nothing but God. I know that's what this is.
Yes.
Shadow of a doubt. And I'm telling you all out there today, acknowledge him. I get emotional because he is real. He is real.
Yes.
He is real. He will give you the desires of your heart, but you must do the work. You must be obedient.
Yes.
You must be obedient. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
You go ahead and flow.
You go ahead and
You go ahead and flow.
But that's him. That is him. That is who I know is guiding this process. And I didn't get into the mayoral race to lose, but I promise you, I will still win if I lose.
Gotcha.
You always got to let the glass half full, because who knows what opportunities will come because you decided to run. You didn't win.
Absolutely.
You don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's listening. You don't know.
No.
You don't know. So
That's
you have to be open, and you have to jump off the cliff at
Yeah.
all times. Now, of course, you got to make calculated risks. I'm not telling you to just do things haphazardly, but
Right.
after you have a conversation with them and you know that you know, do it. Do it. You have to do it. So that's what I'm saying. His grace, mercy, and favor guides everything that I'm doing, and all the people that I'm connected to. Watch your connection. They connected too. They connected. That's how they're flourishing. That's how their territories are expanding. That's who you get hold to. That's what the fire looks like. And if you don't recognize that, and if it's not feeding your spirit, let it go. Move around. And understand that doesn't mean because your friend over here is not into entrepreneurship or on this wavelength that you don't be friends. No, you put your friends in different buckets. You go over here when you need to go over here, and you're going to have friends over here when you need to go over here. Sometimes you can collaborate, and sometimes you can't. But you can be who you are, still achieve your dreams, still have all of your friends who may not be in alignment, because I aggravate my friends. Because you hang around me, then you got to be doing something productive. I mean, how much money you made today? You know, those are the kind of questions that I ask my friends. Because if it don't make money, it don't make sense. So I'm always talking to them like that. So yes, ma'am. Grace, mercy, favor.
And that's really important, because God will put people in your life. Some people are meant to push you outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
And like, I always share that even doing these live shows and doing the radio shows, all of that was a leap of faith about little over a year ago, right before the pandemic hit, when someone reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you guys like to do a radio show?" And I was like the behind the scenes. I'm normally the quiet one. You believe that, honey?
Oh, yeah, you were normally the quiet one.
But then the opportunity presented itself, and it required me to step outside my comfort zone. It required us to step outside our comfort zone. And you didn't know who was listening, because then it turns around. They said, "Hey, matter of fact, why don't you do a second radio show?" And you're like, "Okay, God, you know this is you, because this is not your plan for it." Then start doing the live show. Then start hosting prayer call for women. And I'm like, all right. But I didn't feel like I said, "God, I don't know if I'm able to do this." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm going to connect you with people." So I'm like, okay. So I sent out a text message literally to a bunch of wives and pastors and said, "Hey, look, I'm thinking about doing these prayer calls for wives. Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, God, if they respond, it's you. If not, I was trying to come up with my own out." And when I tell you, my phone started blowing up immediately of people that wanted to participate, and they were saying, hey, we'll help you with this. I said, well, thank you, God. So he will send people along your path to help encourage you in the way he wants you to go. But you got to take that step of faith. Success is not going to just drop in your lap. You have to do ACT. Action will change things, but you got to take that first step. And so I wanted to applaud you tonight for taking that step, for being for pushing it fearlessly forward, for being that disruptor, because we need this to help inspire other entrepreneurs, other women out there, other people that are like, they've been considering running for positions, public offices, and they're too afraid. And they're like, wow, just hearing this interview will be that source of inspiration that they need to be like, you know what? I'm going to finally do it. I'm going to step outside my comfort zone.
Because I can tell you, you're inspiring me.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you inspire me to acknowledge God even more so. Because I look at, like she was talking about, just with us, we started out, doing just Facebook Lives, and we got approached by, Dr. Dean, who was the producer of the radio show. And, he invited us to come on. And I was like, wow. So we started, like you said, we started one show. And I remember when our first show, we had about 700-800 live streams. And we've grown to over, 7,000-8,000 per stream. And then it was, when it was circulated, it was upwards to 25 to 30. And then we had two shows, two different date night with the Hylicks, and then we had the Marriage Can Win show. And we acknowledged God, and we did a lot of praying on some of those shows. I mean, live, and even the producers like, wow, you touched me. But it's just what we were led to do. And then now God has blessed us to even reach a larger audience now, where we have a potential to reach 250 million on a TV show, our first season that we're in production with now, and brainstorming for that. So I'm like, wow.
But it just says, be mindful, be willing to step out on faith, be willing to take that first step. Don't allow things like fear or pride to hold you back. That God has a purpose and a plan for all of our lives. And we're about building relationships, not just the marriage relationships, but business relationships, because we know, like, when things aren't right at home, that can impact your other relationships. So we want to help as far as solidifying that family structure, so they feel more encouraged and more empowered to go out and step into all that God has for them. And then sometimes that makes them even more open to receiving the word of God. So
yes, because see, the thing is, we've learned, because we've been together over 27 years. We've been married 23 years. And we know the ups and downs. We know the challenges in a family, in a relationship, in marriage. And the thing is that, like our latest book called Struggling to Keep the Vows, right? So we know about the good, the bad, the rich and the poor, the sickness and health. And so we know that we have to acknowledge God and depend on him in all thy ways, in all those areas. And so, and that's why we apply that principles like you were talking about. We apply the two, is to love thy neighbor as you love thyself, and you love thy God with all thy heart. Just those two principles. And we acknowledge you in all thy ways. And we love to connect with other like-minded and like-spirited people who are being the change that we want to see in life and in relationships, and also that they engulf, Jesus Christ. And so we just love it.
No, I mean, babe, you hit the nail on the head. So I just want to thank you again, Shana, for joining us this evening. I want to thank you for being that disruptor. I want to thank you for using your voice to be a change. And I want to do a quick reminder to all of our listeners and viewers out there that if you're struggling and you're like, can I do it? Here's a perfect example that yes, you can. So let's put the websites up so they can connect with you and support with you. You know, we have ShanaBoston.com to make sure you connect with her. And I believe there was another website, BostonFirstAMS.com. So that way they can stay connected with you as well. So Shana, do you have any closing words or you know, that you want to, or wisdom that you'd like to give to the listeners and the viewers?
Yeah. The vibe that we've been talking about tonight is really to do it scared. Move fearlessly forward. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Nothing happens. Nothing is produced in a comfort zone. So guys, you got to be willing to jump. Make sure that you have a relationship with God. He runs all of this. All of this is his. I say to people all the time, I'm his favorite girl. I don't know about you, but I'm his favorite. Okay. And they be like, how you figure? Because that's what I call. So think about, you are what you say you are. You are what you think. So if you think you're not able, you're not. If you think you're not worthy, you're not. But if you think you are, wow, what a world opens up to you. Endless possibilities opens up when you say yes. Endless opportunities open up when you become open. We have to also, people, start having conversations with people who don't look like or think like us. That is the only way that we will be able to connect, to be able to be empathetic, to be able to put our foot in other people's shoes. We have to really be able to meet people where they are. And so in this season, and what I believe God is doing, which is why he took us out of church. The church is here. He's here with us everywhere. And like I said, we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. He has made all of us unique in his liking. So that means we have something to bring to the table no one else can do but us. So if you start connecting with like minds, staying close to the fire, it would be so much easier for you to jump, because everybody around you is already jumping and you don't want to be left out. You don't want to be left out. You see them achieving. You see them getting this and getting that. You can have it too, but it starts with you.
Wow.
That is awesome.
So that is powerful. So we want to give a quick reminder to all of our listeners out there that you can be the change that you want to see in your relationships. Make sure you stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and YouTube under Marriage Can Win. And for those of you that are struggling in your relationships personally or in your marriage, you know, if you are having challenges, if you're struggling to keep your vows, make sure you connect with us. Send us an email at marriagecanwin@gmail.com or connect with us via our website at marriagescanwin.com. We are launching our Marriage Can Win Academy, where you can learn, you know, or work on your marriage from the privacy of your own home. You can do it either on your computer or right there. You can download the app. We'll give you a 7-day free look. So just connect with us, because we want to make sure we're not allowing things like fear and pride to hold us back from being and stepping into all that God has for us. And we even have a track for those that are struggling in their business relationships, because we're all about relationship building. So again, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much again to Shana Boston. We are rooting you on. Make sure that you connect with her via her website. Show her some support. For our listeners in Georgia, make sure you go to that website. And even for those of you that are outside the state of Georgia, get that information and share it with others that are, so they can support Shana. So this is Eric and Dr. Sakeisha.
Also, I wanted to invite you to go to the Marriage Can Win Academy and download your free Apple and Apple and Android app, the Marriage Can Win Academy Apple and Android app, to get access to the Marriage Can Win Academy. But you have to be that change that you want to see. So you got to do ACT.
Action changes things. So until next time, we will see you then.